Yeah, the game just starts up like this. Press any key to enter, and mouse pretty much tabbing out of the window causes the game to start.
Time to rehearse.
Shoot. Thought I meant to
Our
get
own
out.
little sandbox. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, sure. Alright, let's go continue our delve
Back to the
deeper
towers.
into this big bit of
Still
insanity.
shut tight. First set of locks are down low.
Yeah, first set of locks. So yeah, you just go one side, other side. Files lost. That's a big number.
Storage archives. We'll just take a peek.
Get a little reacquainted with some of the controls. And I think we just have that as filler for now.
Somewhere in here, there's a file on everyone in town. Safe and secure.
Let's see, we have all of our skills. I believe we're trying to get the passive on that unlocked. So we just have to survive with our thrown together set of skills.
Hey boys.
Hello.
Been a while.
Gravity beams. Neat. So close.
Son,
Gravity
gotta
beam.
end these creeps.
Actually, you know what? No. Here. So there's one left. Just gonna do that. And I believe this does damage. Oh yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Till next time. Which I'm thinking will be pretty soon.
Probably. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. So... John's disappearance. OBC first declared Mr. Moyle's absence a full 5 days later. So sure were his associates that he would return like always. His close friends did not worry more than usual for 3 days. But for each subsequent day, the worry increased an average of 84%. This quotient proceeded to spread to the numerous fans of Mr. Moyle's illustrious career, although administrators barred any appeals to search for him in an offline district. In addition, we should get you. And you as well. Let's see. Shomar Shazberg. Disappearance. The Camerata saw in Mr. Shazberg someone who commanded a significant influence over a young and vibrant sector of the city's population. Mr. Shazberg, for his part, initially mistook the Camerata for an administrative group, and was shocked and disappointed to have been located so easily. His famous escape attempts likewise proved unsuccessful in this particular scenario. Nevertheless, more than 80% of individuals who self-identify as fans of Mr. Shazberg's work believe that his disappearance was all part of the stunt. Next. Ulmark. Cursed. Ulmark gained a reputation for dramatic yet reckless plays. He was very strong, especially for someone of his age and stature, which not only led to significant victories, but also to many injuries on the field. Rival fans started calling him the Cursed QF, for he inflicted some sort of injury to opposing team members in almost every match. This spurred controversy as to whether Olmark was acting with intent or without control, and both possibilities are troubling. Moreover, the league sought new safety regulations affecting the pace and spirit of the sport, which Olmark felt personally responsible. When, after one grueling match, a reporter asked what he made of his notoriety, Olmark admitted he was considering retirement. Soon after, an administrator he met after a high-profile win offered to help him make a comfortable arrangement. One of the special few that changed the sport. What a hero. Anyway, let's uninstall that, because we want to put on something else.
At capacity.
Install there. I believe that's already done. Yep. Done. This needs to be put on passive. Armed targets on contact while executing turn. Whoops, nope. Uninstall. Throw on passive. You could throw that on B. And link that up to it. And that up to it. Yeah, now we got some good shit.
Curves around toward the back.
But we're the bad guys.
Got another message waiting.
Oh, really?
Grant sounds
Great.
small for a murderer.
Grant can't talk right now because he isn't well. Listen, I'm doing everything I can for him. I know there's still time. But the truth is, ever since you took the transistor from him, he just hasn't been the same. When you see him, I think you'll understand.
Alright. Respond. When I get up there, you're going to tell me
So they need
everything
us to
you
help
want my
fix
help.
their mistake.
Yeah, I could use some more information. That's usually helpful.
What do they even want with us? Cheerleader blocked us.
Yeah, keep trying to fight back.
Golden. Who else?
I crave the struggle. Inspect. So let's see. Olmark. Disappearance. To the Camerata, Olmark was a way of hedging the portfolio, in the sense that his talents and selections differed significantly from the others they sought. At the same time, he was by every means unique as an individual, and his physical conditioning provided a useful data point. The Camerata reasoned that for Olmark to go away would ultimately be for his own good. Indeed, following his reported retirement, his career was celebrated, his transgressions quickly overlooked or forgotten. Remove that. See which one's which. This could be thrown into the passive slot. What does that do? Turn movement plus 200%. Neat. Let's see. What does putting this on it do? Split and subdivide most functions. Nah. Well, let's see what this does. Effect stacks times 2. Cool. So it actually stacks? That's actually really good. Get.
Some kind of break room up there.
Oh, sweet, a break room.
Guess if you're gonna spend hours poring over files or running half across town, eventually you're gonna need a break.
Huh.
Go ahead, it's open. Pretend I'm not here. Just hurry back. Good? Good.
Good. That wasn't a diversion I was expecting to see.
We're on the top level. Oldest archives. Always
Pretty sure it's
imagined there'd be more.
it's like a digital world. Why is that needed?
Photo op.
The hell? Oh, it's blocking vision, isn't it?
Payback time. They're trying to get in your head.
Oh, they don't block everything. They do block most things though. Ow. There we go. Just gotta collect the cells now. Perfect.
What do they do with those snapshots?
I wonder how many of those emergency turns we get.
Well, let's see what we can find up here.
'Cause I don't really get it too much. Anyway, inspect. Enter Yallaford. So his disappearance. The Camarada knew Officer Yallaford posed a significant threat, as he was one of the only detectives stubborn or determined enough to refuse to accept the administration's non-committal answers about what was going on in Goldwalk. After considering several ideas that might draw the officer out, the Camarada realized they needed only to be patient with him. After all, a forecaster could only predict what was already planned. After Officer Yallaford vanished, the 18th Precinct fabricated a palatable explanation for the public. The officer was approaching retirement age, and together they agreed to name a quarter of his home district in his honor. Never seen from again. So that in the passive slot. Oh, passive just increased base damage by 25%. That's pretty damn good. Although the weakening effect is pretty good as well. Guessing there's an effect that slows them down as well. Hang on. You know what? We'll leave it on because those work as extra lives.
Found something. Those.
Undo. Can this thing not be backstabbed? Not then. Dang it! Don't attack him. Yo, Chessmaster, how's it going? And stealth.
Go for it.
I'll take that. Sad day. Something bad happened. Let's do that. You already heard what happened today? The only thing I can think of would be Gilbert Gottfried. And I only heard it from this one app that makes sarcastic comments about current events. Although for that it was just Rip Gilbert Gottfried. Yes, that. Yeah, we'll never be serenaded by his voice, but at least we have that one video of him reading from 50 Shades of Grey.
The town's past. It's all in the books. Getting wiped out.
Still gotta wonder if he ever did
Should
a
be some
full
kind of
version of
override.
that. Like the entire book of 50 Shades of Grey read by him. Or if it was just like those, not even a page for College Humor. Alright, let's look at what this does. Asher Kendrell. Secrets. Mr. Kendrell was struck by the administrator's wisdom and depth of experience, and the two shared a passion for seeking the truth of things. And for much more, as it turned out. One day, the administrator took Mr. Kendrell aside to a place like any he'd seen before and revealed to him something he never could have imagined. With it, the administrator said together they could learn so much about the past and about the future. As long as Mr. Kendrell was willing to keep it a secret, Mr. Kendrell accepted without a second thought. The administrator was much more to him than just a source at this point. He still had so much life ahead of him, yeah. Wasn't he only in his early 60s or something like that? I can't remember what his age was. But he wasn't that old. He looked kind of old, but he wasn't that old.
Gotta make room.
67. So he was in his late, not early. Got it. Yeah, he was definitely too young to die.
That's two.
Nice.
Big door downstairs ought to be open now.
Record towers reduct access is current.
Take us straight to Asher and Grant's hideout on the roof.
Concourse level rooftop is online. Please contact an authorized administrator when rooftop security precaution. Okay. Drive feedback. Bye. R.
Let's get back to the concourse.
That was much easier than the other direction, I think. Oh, great. We have enemies here. It's the fucking chickens.
Looks like Grant has other visitors. But we're not waiting.
Over here. This'll work.
Bang.
Okay. That guy's dead. Chicken. You're mine. Hang on. Let's do this. We'll do simple. Yeah, tons of damage. Smash it.
Okay, now's our chance.
94%, so close. Just when you found out a way to get in your boss's good graces, this bomb had to drop. You rendering your hype moot.
Better here than Bracket Towers.
Yeah, it is sad. But we have to move on. Stare into the future. Firewall.
This is it.
It's not really a firewall, it's more of a steel wall. Aha.
Hey, something I've been meaning to tell you. Once this is over, Maybe there's still time to skip town. Think about it. Standing offer. Okay.
It's considered.
Deep breath.
Hopefully watching the Halo series will help. That's how you're gonna do it. I've heard mixed things about it.
Let's give him our best.
Let's see. Thinking maybe we'll take this off and put this on there, right? Well, now we can. Can put it on that. We'll leave it on this. I can't think of anything better that would go with it, to be honest. Sucks, but it is what it is. Oh, with your boss, he's a huge Halo fan. Yeah, I don't know much about the series. I haven't watched it yet. But from what I've heard, like when the director and the writer and stuff, when they don't play the video games, that's a big red flag in my opinion. Like, they said they were interested in the lore, but they didn't give a shit about the games. And that's a problem. But
What?
I'd have to see it for myself. Damn, what the fuck happened? He was giving responses just a little bit ago. Cowards.
Left you a note.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Goodbye. Sent minutes ago.
I couldn't stay to meet with you in person. Grant, he couldn't wait any longer. Why he would leave me? I'd sooner take an eternity in the Transistor. But he was no longer seeing straight. Or perhaps he'd decided he'd seen enough. We knew the stakes of what we wanted to accomplish. And we knew that if we were to fail, we would do so together. As one. See you in the country.
Country? You in the country are.
What are you gonna do now?
Took out his soul.
Hey there, remember me? Guy you killed the other day? Let me be the first to welcome you to your new home. You fake.
And Tendril A, deceased 14 minutes ago.
Wake up, buddy. Got some questions for you. How do we stop this?
Can you talk to the people in there?
How are we supposed to get all the way over there? Oh.
Hey, level. Cowards. Alright, so we can get Flood or Purge. Project a storm sphere that disintegrates targets on its path and spawn a seeking parasite that dismantles the target from within. I think either I think Purge. I like Purge. Let's see, we can get a passive slot. Let's get the upgrade slot. That seems like it'll be cool. And we get to choose one of these. User will no longer activate turn at low health. Ugh. User will overlord more functions at once and recover only one per access point. Oh, okay. Both of those suck.
The Camerata. There's one left.
What the heck are these things? Grand plans.
Once they lost the transistor, they lost control of the process.
Transistor diagram.
Thought they could change the world
Was it
with this
big?
thing.
We have a process swarm. Break the glass. That seems like a bad idea, but whatever you say, game.
Jump for it. We're not gonna fall.
We're gonna ride the swarm. Yeah!
Guess I was wrong about that.
Kingdom Hearts 3 shit.
The Camerata wanted things to change. For good. But not like this. They got greedy. Grant and the others. Only one left. He's gotta know something. Out there somewhere in Fairview. We're making good time. But look at this town.
It's a wreck.
Its time is up.
Speaking of shows that are coming out recently,
Your stage. We get to Fairview.
Moon Knight's been pretty
We can
good.
stop this.
Dog. Stunning bark. And I could do that, and then combo. Stun locked. You love to see it. We'll take out the weeds.
First we get back to the edge of town. Then we make way for Fairview. Last member of the Camerata will be waiting.
By Odin's beard, you forgot to ask me about what.
Hey, Red. You got a full house. Ever get the feeling? Yeah.
Yeah, cluckers.
Okay.
It's a carpet bomb waiting to happen.
Hello up there. Probably getting his friends. That thing on.
Boy, I think of the finale to Restaurant to Another
They think
World.
you're-
It was nice.
What a mess.
Let's see, Red 27, mourned as process toll climbs. Vigil held for popular musician after she vanished in the week's catastrophic outbreak. In memory. And one of
Kind
Cloudbank's
words, though.
yeah, one of Cloudbank's most influential voices has gone silent amid the process epidemic spreading through the city unchecked. Red became active as a musician from a young age, though her popularity surged in recent years as her songs consistently charted in the top 10 percentile for the past 5 years, according to OVC data. For Red is but one of thousands of disappearances this week. Thousands more gathered to honor her life and her music on the eastern perimeter, as the sound of her voice cut through the darkness. Post comment? Yeah. None of this is coming through
you're
anymore,
right.
is it? But you still hear me, don't
course.
you?
Of course I do.
You're all I have.
Red,
There has to be a way to get you out of there.
we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yes, we will. Amphitheater Parkway, come closer. Cross.
Gotta retrace our
Process.
steps.
Yeah.
Get to where you found me. We'll make our way from there.
Alright, so we do have enough space to throw this on now. On something. So maybe throw it on here.
Max Darcy gave up Fashion Week to get caught up in all this.
Maximilius Darcy. Age 31, gender M, selections, design, and aesthetics. Reason cited, pursuit of beauty. Integrated. So, new limiters. This one, concentration. The cluckers. Let's see, if we turn that off, let's turn something else on. We should be able to survive with this on for a little bit. We'll turn that on as well. Alright. We'll do the memory
Where
6
to?
one later.
Well, you got him.
Yes, I did. Just genuine curiosity. Yeah. As I should expect.
This isn't our town anymore. It's theirs.
Nope. Let's undo that. Let's place ourselves right here so we can hit both of them, right? Yeah. Then 1 and hide.
Easy.
But those cells are no longer shielded, which makes them much easier to get rid of.
Back in business. Get out of here.
Very nice. So, updated. So, Maximilius Darcy. Not everyone wears the Darcy brand, however. 2 years ago, more than 56% of individuals between the age of 16 and 42 showed interest in or complimented someone wearing Mr. Maximilius Darcy's clothing. The self-styled Cloudbank clothier became a fashion icon in his early 20s when he introduced to the world a garment line that boldly eschewed formal tradition. Not only that, so prolific was his work that seemingly everyone in Cloudbank, in reality it was only 8% of the population at the time, found garments that spoke to them as individuals. In spite of all this, all was not well in Mr. Darcy's life. Alright, let's rearrange our stuff and look at this. So these guys. So these are supplier. Aren't these weeds? Anyway, yeah, designation weed. The ground is positively teeming with these little numbers, isn't it now? They spread while underground of this, I'm certain. Though the exact method of reproduction, that I don't exactly understand. It isn't... Well, it must get so crowded down there that once in a while, why, one of them decides it's time to poke its head up for a look around. Is this a primordial form of some sort, from which all the others came to pass? The others tend to turn to these as though for guidance, despite how simple they appear to be. Requires further study. Royce. And this one. Designation Clucker. This one is rather inconspicuous. Even nonchalant, so very timid in its disposition. Though its appendages, that is to say its legs, they will need a closer look. Why are they not rigid, fleshy almost, appearing natural in shape and texture, which strikes me as very odd? The process, it is big on self-improvement, that I know, but I do not know if copying the way we mill about, the way we wander. I don't know if that qualifies. In any case, this is a newer model. Has to be. Able to traverse denser environments undetected and quite literally lead the way for its associates. It is a bit like an explorer. Royce. So let's turn these off and throw this on for a bit. I'm not a fan of having 6 memory eaten away, but we can survive a little bit with it on. Let's see, did we get the entire top line done? This has to be put in passive. Deflection shield. And we could throw this into one of our slots. And yeah, with 3 remaining, it's a tough choice. we'll throw this on for more survivability. This should be good for at least one encounter.
3 guesses what's in there. I was hoping you'd do that. See ya. Just one of many.
So I'm guessing we didn't get any experience from that because they weren't ready to fight. That's a damn shame, isn't it? Trace particles.
White blocks like these, they weren't just trees and houses and things.
Southern Pier.
Can't see Fairview from here, but it's out there somewhere. Guess they don't like to swim.
Yeah, not really. They are like robots.
Oh no.
Not again.
You're still there, and I'm still here. You're still there, and I'm still here.
Another major malfunction. What's in the box office? Ah. Simple enough. Let's see. Farewell to Cloud Bank. One reporter's eyewitness accounts the city's final hours. Full story. Editorial. As I stand here on the eastern perimeter awaiting the inevitable, I am surrounded by my community, and I am at peace. It has been my honor and my privilege helping spread the news of the day among the people of the city, and my only regret is having no more time to share with you all. To the west, I see nothing, and to the east, there is nothing, and so we wait together, shoulder to shoulder. We will not leave our fair city under any circumstance. I suspect even the process has figured that out by now. Farewell, everyone.
How about we get out of here?
Ellipses. Yeah, none of it seems like a good time. Got some updates. Nicola Chien disappearance. The Camarada saw in Miss Chien an invaluable moral compass of sorts, someone predominantly driven by philanthropic goals and seeking no personal gain from her actions. This type of perspective they felt was an important counterbalance in comparison to some of the other individuals they had in mind, whose work was no less significant to the city, but whose intentions were not as plain to see. After her disappearance, those who knew Miss Chen reluctantly came to believe that the channel incident shook her resolve enough to where she decided to go away for a while to reignite her passions. File complete. And this one. Darcy's dependencies. In private, Mr. Darcy suffered from certain dependencies he believed were the source of his talent, or rather the source of his inspiration. Unfortunately, he was correct in this assessment. When he decided to come forward and wean himself from these dependencies, after an initial public outpouring of support, his career started to falter. His ideas came less quickly, or he could not act on them as quickly. And so, against the wishes of his closest confidant and partner, he resumed his old habits. It was then that Mr. Darcy met certain individuals professing knowledge of his condition, who invited him to participate in an experiment that would cure him without compromise. Believing he had little to lose, Mr. Darcy decided it was worth a shot, and was not. It was not worth it. Limiters. So let's see. Designation cheerleader. Now these little fellows are quite remarkable, really, and I believe they are key to how the process is able to construct or deconstruct as the case may be. Whatever they set their sights upon, why it becomes impervious, really, as though encased in thick glass. This way the process can just build and build and build, clean and happy, no distracting to surrounding environs. No need for pardon our dust or anything like that. It all gets done in a hurry, but not in a rush, not in a rush. The work, it is immaculate. Royce. Let's turn that off. And I vote for that and that. But we will not turn that on. And with our additional space, let's undo that. We need to throw something in the passive slot. Okay, so I think the entire first line is done. Yeah, this needs to be put on passive, and this needs to be put on a support section. I'll throw that on here. Throw this buff on it. Remove this. And stick this on for the... For being the first thing that will be destroyed. Alright, let's go for a pleasant walk. Surely nothing bad will happen. Gold Walk Thoroughfare. Or Throughfare. Whatever it is.
You know, Red, we make quite a team. Lady without a voice. Jank without a body. We owe it all to the Camerata. He sure did a number on this man.
Yeah.
Hey, keep it down. Keep it down out there.
Yeah, these aren't even strong creeps. They're like the first ones we found. Wait a minute, did we get an upgrade? That's usually what that sparkly effect means, right? Nah, nothing.
Is that what I... Oh, yeah.
It's the big guy again. Bullock Bay?
They really don't like water.
They're like the aliens from Signs. I think it's Signs, right? Man, I don't know my old filmography very much, or very good. Here we go.
I'd like to go, if you don't mind.
Got anything?
Noise.
Hey, doggy. Hey, we got a new one. Let's see. Performance test 407.
Load up and mop up.
What do we got? More or less got our usual.
Bring it on.
Mashy. Oh, look, we got that. We could throw it into the passive slot, right? Immunity slow, disable, user damage resisted. Yeah. Let's go.
Like it's charm.
Alright, wave 2. Next.
Just what we need.
Okay, we get our... If we free up one space, we get our dash. Let's remove this and actually throw it in here, so that way we can abuse turn. Yeah. Good shit. Not bad.
Use it or lose it, right?
Use it or lose it.
Our turn.
That's so good. Alright. Ooh, we can get ourselves stealth. Alright, let's throw that... No, not... Yeah, uninstall, uninstall. Throw that into B. Throw this here, we can stealth and... Yeah. Explode if we have to. But I don't think we'll need to.
Let's keep this up.
Oh, you can fuck right off. Wave 5 cleared. I'll just wait that timer to run. There we go. Okay, we can actually put charm on it. Yeah, let's throw charm on it.
Run.
Closer, and that. Not bad. Wave 6. I don't know how many waves there are left. See, I'm thinking I'm gonna wanna do this. Let's uninstall the charm so we could put on one of these as a buffer. Wave 7 cleared.
More the merrier.
And I'll just put that on.
Good stuff.
Hey, wave 8. What do we get now? Just another slot.
We're almost there. We're back.
Getting hurt. Yeah, Void, I'm fine with losing. That was a plan.
We made it.
Alrighty. More music get.
That was pro.
Fake it till you make it.
The process. I guess when they reach a certain size or something, it's like I start blacking out.
Yeah, so the transistor was supposed to be made to fight the process or control it. But the question is how?
I start talking funny, just ignore me, okay? Oh, good. Here again. Soon everyone and everything.
Disrupted.
It'll all just be little white bugs. And some eyeballs.
Are you serious?
Except for us. We don't have to worry like a
Oh, great. None of this feels right. I don't even know why I'm taking so much damage at the moment. I'm just... This game is just fucking me over right now. Can you just die? What the fuck is going on? Jeez. That was just annoying for no reason. Passive slot or upgrade slot? Let's go with the passive slot. I don't care. That's a new one we got. So what does this do? Process will spawn corrupted cells when terminated. I like the bad cells. Regenerative leeching. Siphon life points from targets in the area around the user. Can apply a life-stealing effect to most functions. And passively, it will raise the user's total life points, improving survivability. Okay. I guess we got his final thing, his disappearance. It may seem mundane for the Camerata to take interest in a man like Darcy, yet from the Camerata's perspective, he was perfect. Here was someone with the capacity to sway thousands in a subtle way, whose career appeared to be waning. The public would readily accept that such a man, publicly disgraced, would decide to head to the country away from the bustle of city life. And indeed, the public took this news at face value, all but Miss Darcy's confidant, whom the Camerata dealt with separately. What does this do? Passive is just total life points. You know what? Sure. Extra life points, I'll take it. Let's see, I think we'll... Not sure if we should put it on here or here. Because this thing is like a very slow, annoying thing. Actually, what if we put it on this? Nope. Uninstall this. What if we put it on this? Yeah, it gives it a leeching effect. The only issue is you need it to penetrate targets, which we can do. by removing this. Throwing it on that as well. So there... Oh, no, wait, it doesn't. Thought it gave it piercing potential. If it doesn't, then there's no point in that. Stealth damage. And we just have to figure out a good way to fill in the attack slots. I think just using that as our main attack for now until we get our 2 good ones back is all we can really do. We have no more memory, so we just have to use this somehow. Actually, we want something we can use during the turn cooldown. Okay, let's turn this off, put this on, so that way we can put this on something. We'll throw it on that, I guess. It's better than nothing. And now we just have to survive the last thing. Cannot be found.
The channel used to be here. Don't even know anymore.
Yeah, power sliding.
Red, will I ever see you again? I mean, face to face. I like to wonder about that. Like maybe you can get me out of here. Or something. Then we can watch everything around us wash away. Hand in hand.
Everything just regrows. Okay. No reason to just waste time. Oh boy. Alright. Let's see.
Oh, not Junction Jans.
Dang it. Junction Jan is
Where are we
closing
gonna get our
stores.
flatbread now?
Circumstances beyond our control. Have one last flatbread on the house. Please select your meal preference. I'll take the mystery Jans.
This is a tragedy.
I agree. No more pizza. Sorry, service currently unavailable. Thank you for using Junction Jans. Your meal will be delivered in 9... Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think we're getting our pizza.
Where's our beautiful bike?
Hey.
Hey, that's not our bike. What a haircut.
Shared status stealthy.
Who is this guy?
Get purged. Yeah. Corrupted cell.
Looked like a man.
Guess it's time to go for a ride.
Thanks for the lift. said back there. About wanting to see you again. Face to face. I want you to know.
You meant it?
I meant it.
Yep.
Bike deserves some kind of reward. Not to get wiped out like all his bike friends. See you in the country, Mr. Bike.
Alright, access point. We get our shit back. Hell yeah. Like, I don't know. Bounce Decay is pretty fun, but I think I definitely prefer to have a strong ability here on that to use, however, on this stuff. But yeah, it's got that stuff.
Asher Kendrill stood for the Camerata's cause to the bitter end.
So let's see.
Grant Kendrill's rooftop hideout back in High-Rise. That was for damage control. He wanted to save people.
Let's see, so Grant Kendrill, age 55, gender M, selection civics and judgment. Reason cited, Cloud Bank, of course. Recorded. So background. More than 94% of voting adults in Cloud Bank agree that administration is necessary to the city's infrastructure and its continued day-to-day operations. A similar percentage also wants no part of administrative responsibilities, other than to exercise one's personal right to vote on or otherwise contribute to pertinent social issues. Most administrators like it this way, in the long-standing tradition of their role. They endeavor to keep things running quietly and smoothly, intervening as little as possible while facilitating as much as possible. As public servants, administrators are beholden to their constituencies through this time-honored system. It is a system that Administrator Grant Kendrill decided to subvert. Well, no longer needing a passive slot, so let's throw that there. See, what does this do as passive? Spawn a copy when attacked, diverting nearby targets. Or move farther. Yes. It's either that or put it somewhere here. Lifesteal 1%. So you would get 1.5 HP per thing. That sounds awful.
That's better. You go first. Yikes. Spawning season. Red, wait. Hi, ladies. Red, door. Quick. Too much. Don't fight this. Run.
I'm looking. Where the fuck's the door? Down here? Oh, this way.
Bye, ladies.
A little nuts. Just a little bit. Trace particles. Moil.
Here's where we found one of the lucky ones. What? You alright? Listen, jerk.
Ah.
Boom.
Okay, so corrupted cells hurt you
They took
in a
chunk
way.
out of the floor. Took it where, though? Back to the promenade. Still up. they like you. Not mutual. Now's our chance.
Cell.
The shooter's wrapped.
Just corrupted cell.
You know, last time we were here, I knew it could be worse. By a lot. I just wasn't quite sure how. Comfort in knowing. Makes things simple in a way. We get to Fairview. Find our man. Take it from there.
Works for me. But man,
Mood lighting.
even making it all the way to the end, I feel like I'm not getting many of the answers that I need. Trace particles. Oh, it's plat.
Lady we found here. Body's gone, but her trace is with us.
Terminal Cloudbing Diagnostics. How's it doing?
Terminal
Not great.
thinks you're in charge.
Available options:
Maybe
Terminal
it's right.
Diagnostics, Cloudbing SAS Support, Population Census Network Reset. Diagnostics.
Tell us something we don't know.
OVC terminal system failed. One or more diagnostics. Critical error. Shutdown imminent. Great.
Surprised those still work.
I think work is a very generous term.
Anything else before we head up?
Whether state override. Yeah.
This isn't a vote. It's a choice.
First state change available. Is that anything? Light precipitation or snowfall? Precipitation. Verified. New weather state activated.
read
Light
my mind.
precipitation.
Look at this. You got the key to the city.
What do we got? This maxed out. So, Kendrill. His goals. Kendrill continued working for OVC, now with an ulterior motive. Having joined the administrator's inner circle, the administrator needs someone like Asher to help keep a low profile. Someone who could speak directly to the hearts and minds of the population, and truly understand their needs. That way, they could conduct their work in service of the people. Clownbake would enter a new era. And then everybody died. Anyway, limiter. Designation snapshot. Spent many, many hours staring into these unblinking eyes. Rather calming, really. The process keeps meticulous records, very responsible. And this is sort of their bookkeeper, near as I can tell. Now, I can't make heads or tails of those records yet, but there are timestamps. They have to be timestamps, which is how I know. In any case, the sense of feeling monitored constantly, while troubling at first, I found with time it fades. Royce. And a file. Turn off. Fuck it, I'm not gonna use limiters.
We can still get through. Hello, world.
Man,
You don't look so good.
it's being whited out.
Look out. No, you don't. One down, one to go. And you can't run.
Wow. That's effective.
Wouldn't want to wind up like them. Okay, let's go. There's the alley. Hey, look.
Begin.
Proxy?
This is
Bracket
Royce
R.
Bracket of the Camerata,
Oh.
communicating via proxy. I am calling for a truce. See, I'd very much like for the process to, well, stop doing what it's doing. And my conjecture is you'd very much like that too. Assuming I am right, then come along and we'll sort this out. Maybe we can sort this out.
I mean, if you
We'll
don't
see
kill
about
yourself like
that.
the others. User sign-in site.
Could have sworn I left my body right here.
Administrative override.
The transistor. What can it do? What can it really do?
Good question.
Well, it can build a bridge. For example, that's something. People want
How?
a bridge to Fairview, sure. Why not? It's settled. Have a beautiful new bridge. It's good for more than just bridges, of course. Why, it can make just about anything happen. Really.
That's why we're like administrators now. Accessible only by ARC, clogging is excluded. Beautiful getaway seems to receive all sufficient support. This petition would create a walking bridge to connect the southeast edge of Goldlock Bay to Fairview. It would just be a license a stroll away. Additional traffic by blah blah blah. Admin authorized dot position. Authorize.
This better work.
The people have spoken. Please stand by.
Wow.
There's no way that should have worked.
You asked for it. You got it.
To Fairview.
Yes.
Let's go meet
Under
Royce.
construction. Is he a process zombie as well?
The process can't be stopped. Can't be stopped. However, process could be impelled to simply go away. Take its business elsewhere. And we'll be well enough alone. As for the town, we'll have ourselves a blank canvas. And as for the transistor, we'll have ourselves a brush.
Sounds slightly evil. Let's see, Grant Kendrill. Worldview. Administrator Kendrill is one of the longest tenured public servants in the administration's recorded history. More than 2 younger generations of administrators came and went as he remained on the job. His abilities as a judicious and sharp-minded administrator never faltered as his age advanced. So instead, his constituency's respect for him only grew. By contrast, Administrator Kendrill found his own feelings beginning to change. It was a period of personal crisis, a time when lesser men would have retired, but Administrator Kendrill took it all in stride as far as anybody knew. By now, he had realized that he had fought for virtually every social position at one time or another, always pleasing the majority. Over time, this left a hollow feeling in his heart. He had his own position on many matters, his own dreams and desires, but he had learned to keep his thoughts in check. Then, a longtime friend of his, with whom he often confided his worldview over food and drink, gave Administrator Kendrill an idea he never dared consider. Alright, so with that, you gotta put this in a support slot. So it'll give it 2% lifesteal. Works for me. See, did we get a new limiter information? I don't think we did. Yeah, we're good.
So this is Fairview. Farther from town than I thought. All of Cloudbank's gonna wind up like this. Where are we supposed to? Oh,
Alright.
Trying times. Very trying times these days.
Yeah.
Graham, the others, they've gone ahead without me now, haven't they? Just you and me now, isn't it? You and me, and the transistor.
What does it do? Oh, God.
yeah. I got nothing.
The saying, which goes, when everything changes, nothing changes. You see, when everything changes,
Vanishing
Nothing
points.
changes. But all this isn't what we had in mind.
Town isn't looking any better from this angle.
Still very white and blocky.
There's the door. To something.
All the code's getting corrupted and blocky.
Better.
Current. Go to x equals negative 2,362, y equals 1,126.
To Fairview.
Coordinates. Oh, fuck.
These. Hang it back this time. Still with me. Other one's cooled off. Anyone else?
Very effective.
The process, it's just doing a job. Doing its job.
What's
Though
the job?
I much preferred it when the process did mine. But our old friend Grant, I mean, I let him borrow it. And
He did a
anyway,
big bad.
here we are.
Never let other people touch your spaghetti
Go
code.
for it.
It never
We
ends up
knew
well.
We'd have our detractors. What we were doing was wrong in the traditional sense, the contemporary sense.
Grant Kendrill. The Camerata. The Camerata was just the two of them at first, and its ranks were never meant to exceed a number to be counted on one hand. They encapsulated their beliefs in an expression. When that everything changes, nothing changes. And they had in their possession something that would move their mission forward. Administrator Kendrill, ever familiar with the solemn burden of responsibility, knew more about the administration than anyone. If anyone knew what was best for Cloudbank, it was him. Honestly, I kind of like the setup we got.
More. That's a new one. They're fixing themselves. They're exposed. Back off. That was rough.
Actually, it was pretty easy.
Gotta keep going.
Looks like we're in a church. Or at least what used to be a church. Alright, next coordinate.
Let's fly. Everyone always said you could be anything you want in this town. This is it for me. I could get used to this.
There's these traces inside the transistor. Everyday people once upon a time, but now, well, not quite themselves. And they're trapped. No walls in there, mind you. It's just, they're on their own. Listen close enough and maybe you can hear them. Some of them, I mean. The ones you know.
Just a bit farther.
Believe we've gotten every single one. I'm just going to double check one last time. Pretty sure the entire top row is all good. Oh yeah, we are all good.
These ones aren't hiding, at least. Damn right. That should do it.
Yeah, that's surprisingly effective. So close to a
If
level
Royce
up.
can hold them off, so can you.
I like how the flourish is just useless. I've yet to see purpose for it. Ooh, another terminal. What do we got?
Whatever Royce sees in this place, I don't.
Protected message. Confidential. Header string data setting up an FV. Last read 1 year ago.
Whenever people make a change, whether to the sea or the sky or anywhere in between, the process does the real work. Invisible. Behind the scenes. Well, I say whoever does the real work ought to get the credit. So I found a way to put the process center stage. A way to keep the process working in concert. In harmony.
Grant. Not a good format for debate, but there is no debate. We know the requirements. Low registered population density, access to civic resources, I do need light from time to time, and distance from administrative centers. Archive? Archive. Message
Enough with the
archive.
history. Don't like it here.
I agree, this place is a little too weird for my taste. Address? The fuck is this? E8F7D9D8? Is that hex?
Bet this leads
It's sorta hex, I guess.
somewhere other than here.
Yeah, that's about right.
The transistor. I have no idea what's inside it, really. Who or what. I've my
The abyss.
theories,
Depths,
but
not a number. Nan.
That's really all they are. It's just theories. I've seen inside it. Had myself a little look. But I didn't see much. Didn't see much at all. It was like staring at the sky.
Bright lights back there. Maybe it's Royce.
5CBB688E.
Let's never do that again.
This town, it changes shape all the time, right? Bridges, parks, highways rising, falling. Rising and falling at the people's whim with the changing of the seasons. Even the seasons, they're just whim. Why? I guess I grew weary of it after a while. Things changing all the time. All the time.
No views
Okay.
like that in town.
I wouldn't really even call it a view. Also, that's a treasure chest. There's a few treasure chests in the trees, too. We are one encounter from a level up, but who knows if it's actually going to happen.
Come on out. Get back. Been through worse.
Level up, yeah, level 12.
What do we have?
We got Get and Flood. Let's grab Get. Why not? New function, Get. Sadly, no increase in memory. I would definitely love more memory. I guess we'll get our final upgrade slot. I'll grab that. Limiter. No space to use it yet. Hey, we're back to normal integer numbers.
Clear. Which way?
I knew Grant half my life. Principled, persuasive man. Very persuasive. I'll miss him. He appreciated my work, supported my endeavors.
Took the coward's way out.
It was his idea. I was all for it. All for it at first. But then,
Honestly,
well,
I can't remember what characters are
I'd say
who.
the rest is history, but that's not quite the case.
Let's see, like, if we look at the things here. Preston Moyle, no, no, nope, 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 nope. Asher. So we haven't met Grant yet.
Bailey Gilland worked admin up in high rise. That's a lot of privileged info.
I mean, if you say so. What does it do? Makes most functions pull targets out of position. Interesting. Where's the target close to the user, strong against distant targets? Has a magnetic effect. We'll just equip it here first. And use our remaining slots for that. Faster cooldown. Also, gotta throw on the one new limiter for now. Here it is. User will overload more functions at once and recover only one per access point. Yeah. Let's go this way, I guess. Neat. Contents unreadable. Are you sure about that? Protected message, confidential. Header, string data, no more theories. From Royce.
Where I found it, where I
Red text.
found it. Why? I found it on a lark. Right around here, geographically speaking. Although geography was only one small factor, there was also the math. Awful lot of math involved. Wasn't entirely myself when I found it, you might say. Sometimes I think I didn't find it at all. More like the otherwise around. You understand? Maybe it was looking for someone like me.
Tonight I'll be going in again. This time I'm 100% positively certain. I figured it out. Tomorrow you will see it too. Exciting times, exciting times. Archive.
Either way, now you're stuck with it.
Yeah. Doesn't help my situation at all.
Other way now. Hey, look.
Hey, it's a door. Stability test.
Get the feeling we won't be coming back here for a while. Had just about enough of Royce's lectures back there. But if he says he can make the process go away, I guess we gotta hear him out.
Yeah, just go away. Go get him, Luna.
She likes us. Too bad about her friends.
Planning test.
Why won't this thing stay shut? Whatever you do.
Yeah, simple enough.
Aces.
Spine instrumental.
The things you do to get a little time alone these days.
Stability test 3 of 3.
Something's different in here.
Final one.
Shoot, I forgot to bring the towels.
So you have to survive with pre-installed functions.
Here comes the tide.
Withstand for 90 seconds.
Get him, girl.
I'm already basically dead. That seems to be the plan. Aw, damn it. Well, there goes my jaunt, so it's basically over. So I get lucky. I highly doubt I'll get that lucky.
Surprise.
Demons suck the life away.
This is bad. Hold on just a bit longer.
Fuck. Few more seconds.
Get away.
1, 0. Yeah! Just barely. Apex beat.
If you were being tested, you must have passed.
I would think so.
Same
Speed test.
age, but something's different since the last time. Ready to go fast?
Somebody say fast.
On the clock.
And B.
Don't.
I'm pretty sure I can't win now.
One second. Last chance. We gotta move.
I'm dead. Dang it. Went behind the wall.
Damn it.
What a fucking waste, man. What a fucking waste. That makes 2.
We gotta move. Resetting.
2 more seconds. Got it.
Totally worth it.
Just had to sacrifice myself for that last little bit.
Well, I'm getting restless already. How about you?
Only slightly. A little bit more tired than restless.
Ready for us, Royce?
That, I believe, is the transistor's true purpose. Its true nature.
Wait, can you repeat that? This is something. There you are.
Oh, it's man.
Back. Three still up. Ready for more.
Fuck. that way we can finish him off. There we go.
There.
Great success.
Okay, you're almost here. Almost here.
I want to see what's up the stairs though.
Funny, I'm beginning to get a little nervous. So
What do we got?
Come
Permanent.
All the camaradas targets. And me.
But who is me?
Funny things about the transistor. Let's see. You can get in, but you can't get out. How about
Well,
that?
that sucks.
You can get in, but it's a one-way street, a one-way road. It's like the country. You don't just go for a visit, you go for good.
So, subjects of certain status whose utter disappearance can be explained away. Examples: Nicola Chien, flighty advocate behind Goldwalk; Wave Tennigan, that broadcaster; Maximilius Darzi, clothier always in the news; Shomar Shazberg, brave or foolish, either way.
What do
Archived.
they know anyway?
Archived. For the future wasteland survivors. It's pretty in a desolate sort of way. Let's see, Bailey Gilland, or Gilland, I don't know, probably Gilland. Miss Bailey Gilland was never one to follow the pack. Due to a variety of social challenges she experienced early on, she grew to care much more about the past than the future. Well, this preoccupation was at first made her reclusive as a person. In time, it flourished as an invaluable skill, which put her at the forefront of a movement to fundamentally rework the city's outdated and incomplete archival system. Then one day, Miss Gilland received a message from her local admin branch, extending her a pre-approved opportunity to be head of the city archives. She accepted on the spot. Right into the passives. We only have enough room for a twofer. Just in case. Also. Designation creep. Busy, 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 aren't they? With their feet or feelers, maybe, all clattering about, very hardworking, diligent, dignified even, despite menial role within process hierarchy. Though hierarchy, that is not quite right. More like union. Most respectable, a pair of these. They often work in pairs, can wipe out a small house in an hour or two if sufficiently impelled. Then, the others in the family, they all come in to make way for something new, something different, often something better than before. Royce. So those are Royce's notes on them. I guess doing his research when he initially found them.
Must be the place. Hi, Royce. If you can hear me.
Struct.
Everything around us. Washing away.
Bits of data gone, reduced to atoms. Let's go deal with this. Got a talking head.
Welcome.
To have a chat with.
Welcome.
Oh.
Welcome. Well, come in. Come on. Inside my studio. I'm quite unarmed, as you can see. And it's safe in here, relatively. Safe.
Yeah, at least for now. Here's the thing. Now, if the transistor doesn't go back in its cradle, then why, you and I both, but we just won't be anything anymore in a little while. You, me, and the rest of this town.
You're gonna have to make a
So,
decision.
Please, don't let my work go to waste. I'm being reasonable. full disclosure. Full disclosure here, which is I am positively certain 100% that this will work. Which is transistor plus cradle equals no more process. No funny business. Okay?
This is it then. You know what you have to do.
So, okay. No actual
What have we got
choice.
to lose?
You?
It's why we're here.
Yeah, but...
Came all this way for a reason. Just get it over with. Look, no matter what happens, just... I love you. You know that, right? It's time. Bye for now. But I will see you again. I will see you again. I know you can hear me. I won't let you go. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Let's see. The good news. Well, the process, I think we got it. Contained it. So, the town is going to be all right. It's just, well, someone's going to have to rebuild. But we flew a little close to the flame there, so now we're here, not there.
Where's here?
We're stuck. And unfortunately, the only way back that I'm aware of is, well, let's get this over with. Unpleasant.
Prepare yourself. So we're gonna be fighting him? But... I don't get it, why? Things are going so well. Alrighty then. Wanna fight? I'll give you a fight. Oops. Oh, no, wait, that's kind of what I wanted. Trying to remember what I had on before. I believe I had that. I also had it explosive. I had that one with life steal. Put stealth there. That switch. This is not going to work. So, unless he summons things, he might. It seems like this is going to be a final boss of sorts. Faster cooldown. I mean, there's not much else we can do with this. I guess we could have it pull. Sure.
So, who gets to go first? How about me?
Oh.
Let's see.
Got it. Not that. B. Ooh. I did a lot of damage with that. Way more than I thought I would. Well, I think we have our strategy. So then, same thing. Whack. Not that. That.
Again. This really isn't going as well as I would have liked. Remarkable.
Well,
Hey, Transistor. Only one of these is good for the return trip. Let's see if it'll be yours or mine.
I think I have an idea whose it'll be. Oh, he used it. Okay.
Oh,
Sadly, you lost our first one. But... Ha!
ready for more.
We got away. Red, we got away. Now you're here. And me. And that's it.
Lock. Oh, she has her voice back.
Look at this. This whole town. I guess it's yours now. A blank canvas. And you
Right
still
over
have
it.
the brush.
With the brush.
Better you than the Camerata.
Very reminiscent of the rebuilding the world theme with Bastion.
So where do you want to start? Head back to your place in High Rise. Fit some gold walk. Junction jams. All the drinking joints in the canals. What are you thinking?
You? Your body?
Hey. Oh. Look. That's not me. Not anymore. I'm still with you. But I'm not getting out of here.
There's one way.
Red? Hey. What are you doing? Wait. What are you doing? Red. Don't you do it. Don't you dare. Don't do this. Please. If you do this. Red, please don't. Wait. Red! Red. No, Red, no. No.
Seconds march into the past. Moments
That ending's more sad than anything.
just like that.
That dude in the sword is now just stuck there. I'm wondering, do those doors open up if you just use the limiters the whole time? I mean, I'm not gonna play through the game again to see what the limiter stuff is all about, but the option's there for anyone who wants to do it, I guess. They give you the challenge run options. Country. Like, even with that, the country is just basically heaven. The dude in the sword is still there. That was an interesting game. I think I like Bastion better overall. And I think I'll wait a bit to play the next of the games, Pyre. I think I'll just wait till that goes on sale. Begin recursion or exit the shell. Thank you for using the transistor. The recursion option will be available on your return. Sign off for now. Yeah. So I guess we'll clear another game off the Game Pass backlog. Let's see what we got. Pull up the whole list of games real quick that I got. So let's see. And there isn't much. Well, I could play an incredibly long JRPG, one that I've never played. Who knows when it's going to go away anyways on Game Pass, so I guess I might as well get started on it. But, yeah. Next game should be entertaining. Final Fantasy X. Till then, have a good night.